Plus, those of us who were working all day, so we had to tape the hearings, have got to fit the hearings in tonight too. Hi, Sally. It's good to see you. Sally, can you hear us? Sally looks like her screen might be frozen.
Yes, it does.
Mm. We need one more. No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 5. We need one more.
Hi, Karen, are you filling in for Mark tonight?
So I believe this year, good evening, sorry, I got a call and I just jumped off for a second. This year, we will have 2 council on aging liaisons.
Okay,
And
good.
so I'm happy to, part of it is probably so that I know he has at least one other meeting this evening. So this will more select people in different places. So yeah.
Welcome.
Good.
Mark emailed me earlier. He did explain that he had a prior meeting, but his plan is to join us in progress, or his hope, which has happened on quite a few other times too. So
Okay,
hopefully
well,
he
maybe that we'll tag team and I will exit when he joins in.
I'll leave that to the 2 of you. And Amy, thank you for coming. I know you're not feeling great, so.
I'm fine. Thank
Oh.
you.
Okay. Good. That's good news all around.
Amy, there's a box by your desk that's got all the stuff from Saturday.
Oh, thank you, John. Thank you.
You guys had a beautiful day out there, huh?
Yeah,
Really nice.
very successful.
Good, thanks for being there.
Well, thanks to all the hard work that especially that Amy and Nancy put in. We had a wonderful display of loot to attract people and it worked. And we had a lot of volunteers as well. Again, thank you to Nancy in particular recruited, but Amy, I know you worked hard on it too. So thank you to everybody. It was a great day. It was actually, I think it's the first time since I've been on the council that we've had a presence at Family and Friends Day. Jane didn't have much interest in this one. She likes the one in the fall, the town fair. But this is, I think, the first time we've been there, and so it was great. Ah, we're up to a quorum. Debbie is here.
Debbie's here in her car.
It counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're golden. All right, what time is it? It is not showing on my thing.
6:34.
6:34. All right. At 6:34, I would like to call the meeting to order, and I will read the roll call. Jackie Bahena is not here. Barb Kearney is not here. Brenda Crashman, whose term expires in 2022, and since she never was here, we'll hopefully finally get the list cleaned up. Joan Coco said she would be late if she can get here at all. She's going to try. Not here. Jolyn Eck, not here. Karen Fotino, here, present. Sally Hoyt. We lost Sally? We had her
Looks
for a
like it.
moment. Well, I'll have to leave her off the roll call for now, but hopefully she'll come back. John Parsons,
Here,
thank you. Karen Panett,
Here.
Sandy Schaefer, not here. Marilyn Shapley, I'm here. Debbie Small,
Here.
thank you. Nancy Zimlack,
Here.
and that's it. So we are in business. Our first item for the evening is, if I can find my agenda. I was very organized for once and printed all this, but now I have all this pile of paper in front of me. Elders and Human Services update. Amy?
Okay, so I just wanted to let everyone know that, first of all, I want to say thank you to Kevin, because I know you're not staying long. You have, I'm still in denial, but I'm finally accepting it. You have been a great mentor. And I just want to say thank you very much for all of your help and hard work. And we are, I think everyone knows, but the center is closing at 12 p.m. on Fridays. You'll see in the report that I had done, I did an average per day, and I was just kind of keeping an eye out. Friday afternoons, besides the bridge group, it just gets really, really quiet. So we switched the bridge group. So this will be until after Labor Day. Then we'll go back to those hours. And we have, for our job postings, we have senior center coordinator has gone full time, which is wonderful news. That I've been doing this job, gosh, I think going on 6 months. So this will be a game changer. Once we have that, we'll be able to do more programs, and the pleasantries, I think, we'll get in a better groove, and this will be just smoother. So we look forward to this. We're going to be planning interviews pretty soon. We also got a part-time backup van driver, which is great news. He is going to be covering the Joe's vacations, or trying to fill in. He's also works for Wakefield Senior Center. So he said, Kevin, like, think it's not a regular schedule, but he wants to honor his commitment to them first. But I think we'll find out more once we talk to him, but great guy. We're really happy to have him on board. And then I can ask the requests later. And then, so I did the report, and I also included what's called an average daily attendance report. I think this one is helpful just to get an idea of, how many people come on, I think it's an average duplicate. So it's saying like 39.76 people come to the center per day. It's not super accurate, but it kind of lets you know the breakdown. If anyone has any questions, let me know. And that is it for us.
Thank you, Amy. That's great. Did you or Nancy want to talk about friends and family at all and share a little bit?
Oh, I just want to give a shout out to Rosemary DiBendetto.
Yeah.
She's the one who recruited all the volunteers who helped us at the table. So we had, let me see what I did with my little
I think
notes.
we had like 7 or 8 volunteers.
Yeah, we had Maureen Perkins and
Nora
Grace. Nora, Gracie
Kennedy,
and Helen, what's her last?
Gibbons.
Gibbons. And then she actually had someone else too, a Tom somebody, but he got a better offer at the last minute, so I didn't call him soon enough. But
you did a wonderful job with the baskets.
But it was great. Yeah, and your bracelets were a big hit.
They were.
Yeah.
I think we got wiped out. They were
Yeah,
so
they were
pretty.
none
The
left.
purple was beautiful.
Elise put those in. The dementia friendly, it was purple, and it had
Yeah.
an eye, and then a heart, and then a brain. So it was for dementia friendly. And it was, I think, people were engaged in those in the beginning. So who would have thought?
Yeah. And the kids' coloring books table was really clever as well, because it brought kids over, which left the parents with time to chat and find out, gee, there are programs that if not for me, perhaps for my parents would be great.
Yeah, I was
Very-
trying
very
to think
clever.
of, I was trying to think of ways to draw people to the table because, you know, they see Council on Aging or Elder Affairs and they go, oh, that doesn't apply to me. But we had some raffle baskets too, and I think they brought people over. So
The
That's a good-
baskets were beautiful, Nancy. Great job.
all kind of found and donated objects. So
It worked.
Thank you all. It was really, really wonderful. And we got lots of names. We got people to sign up for both pleasantries and then happily again. You know, usually people are like, didn't I just sign up? Why do I have to? No, they're happy to. They signed up for the Council on Aging distribution list as well. So we have begun to have our own mailing list or email list, which is just great. We'll build on it, but you know, it's start and we'll start getting the word out. And Nancy made a beautiful little pamphlet, a flyer that described our programs and had QR codes that people could use. It was great. Really, really well done, everybody.
yeah, it was basically the flyer. All I did was put the flyer on regular paper. So
Yeah, but you put a tree on it and you put QR codes on it and you made it pretty and you fold it. It's a lot of effort. These little things, they're not easy. They may be easy, but they're time consuming and they require a lot of creativity. So really good job, everybody.
oh, thank you, Marilyn.
Thank you to John Parsons too.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Because
Manning
John was
two
working
tables.
two booths.
Yes, and John, you
Bouncing
were
back
so,
and forth.
John even had his own chair. Now that is preparation. Very smart too. So
And I
thank-
saw lots of people scanning the recalc one. We had them up in those photo holders or whatever. I think of them as cookbook holders or recipe holders. That's what I use them for. But people were scanning those as we hoped. So good job all around. All right. Next topic is the financial report. Kevin, you want to do our last financial report from you? Not our last report by any means.
Short and sweet, we're in good shape. To be honest, all I did was print it and send it to Amy. I didn't even look at it.
Okay. Has the knowledge base been transferred so Amy knows how to run it, or Jenna's going to
Well,
know how to
I'm
run
going to
it?
get
or
with
Mark?
Jenna and we'll talk with Jenna and Endry so that we can generate the report that I know Mark had mentioned a while ago that is available. I just haven't had a chance to get up there, but as I'll try and teach Jenna what the right way to do it
Okay,
instead of what I have been able to get to. So,
okay,
yeah, we'll be working hard. I'm here till the 29th, so
okay.
working hard to transfer.
I guess along the same line, I don't know exactly, except from my experience with the postcard, I don't know what the process is in getting bills paid. I know how the postcard worked and that was great. I got the bill, I brought the bill to finance, finance took the bill somewhere and gave the check to Kevin. Kevin gave the check to me. I gave the check to the vendor. But going forward, when we fund whatever we might fund, is that process all in place, Jenna? It is the one that would handle it, or Amy's going to handle it? I know. you
Amy and
need to-
Jenna, it's really pretty straightforward.
Okay,
Yeah, no, we do it day in and day out, so,
okay.
yep.
Thank you very much. Any questions about the financial report? Nope. Moving right along. Oh,
Marilyn, could I
Yes,
bring
Yes.
up what
Oh,
I
Mark,
shared with
right.
you? So one of the things that Endry can also help us with is looking at the Burbank trust fund and understanding how much is available in it, how much is
Yeah.
available as earnings over time. And I can, in fact, can I just share it for 2 seconds if I can? Let me see if I
yeah,
can.
I glanced at it quickly when you sent it this afternoon. It looked lovely.
So my sharing isn't happy at the moment. I'm not sure why. That's really interesting. Let me try to bring it to the other screen and see if that helps it. Sorry, I'm balancing 2 screens and it's saying, no, you can't share that. No, it's still not going to do it. Okay, so here's the short story of what's
Oh,
going
I
on.
can do it. I bet I could do it if I could.
Oh,
find it.
great. Yeah, please. Yeah,
Let
if
me
you wouldn't
try-
mind.
Hang on a minute. Let me find the right document. See if I can get to it.
I can summarize what's going on. So the short story is that when the gift was made by the Dorothy Burbank Trust, it was about $211,000. And the balance in the account today is somewhere over $300,000. And if I asked Endry to look back to the end of 2019, the end of 2020, the end of 2021, to see what the balance in that account looked like, because I know there have been discussions of, sorry for the sound in the background. Are you hearing me clearly? And Alvin the Chipmunk joining me too?
Enough. I'm gonna try to share the screen while you're talking.
Okay. So bottom line, at the end of 2019, there was about $292,000 in it. 2020, 296, as you'll see right here. There you go.
Okay.
So you can see what the balances look like. But if the goal remains to maintain the principal, you can kind of pick the starting point, either 211 where it started, or I just asked Andrew to get some end of year balances. There is money there that can be used for different projects. I just wanted to get a baseline, and we can ask Endry to make this part of the monthly report. Right, so you already see what it is, but this notion of comparing to, you know, some baseline level that says, okay, there's this much available to spend. And that's it.
I know other people haven't had a chance to look at it closely, but if it's all right with you, Mark, I'll send it around to the council.
It may be better to ask, why don't you ask Jenna to send it around?
All right.
Even better that way. I see John has his hand up in the background.
Yes, John.
Yeah, I'd just like to make the point, before, and I'm not talking about doing it right now, but in the future, it would be great if we could go back to getting the full reports on all the trusts. I assume we're gonna start meeting in person again, and that was one of the first things that got handed out.
John, I think we did get it. It was in Amy's packet she sent. And we've had it the last couple of months.
They, not quite the same type of reports we used to get, not the same detail.
It's got the line by line expenditures.
I'll have to look at it again then.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't.
Amy sent it in chunks because she was having scanner challenges and was working from home. But Amy, I'm not making things up, am I? Didn't it go in the packet, some of it at least?
It was in there line by line.
Yeah, and it's been there the last couple of months, John.
Mark, can you include, also ask that the interest available for the other two trust funds be included in the report?
So something similar to this compared to kind of end of previous year.
Yeah, I'm just curious what the, as of, what the available interest is, that's all.
Yeah, so it's interest, and then suddenly market value has implications also.
Mhm.
That's for
especially the
sure.
past couple days.
Yeah.
Mark, could you send me this?
Sure.
So I can go over it with Jenna?
Yeah, absolutely. And
Yep.
the source is Endry. I had asked him at a trust, commissioner of trust meetings to give me a baseline that we could share. So that's why you have this in detail. I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, great, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Kevin, for resurrecting the line by line, ugly as it may be. It has the line by line in it. Do you know how up to date it was? I guess that was one question in terms of, I know with Jane, sometimes finance hadn't entered all the data. So there were months when sometimes she wouldn't release it because she knew finance had not yet had enough chance to update the system. Do you have any idea where they stand
That
on
was, I think everything from the trust fund was in the system.
I don't think the postcard was there yet.
Mm,
Because we were about 3,000 in before we did the postcard, and the postcard was another 44,000 or so,
no, it's been a-
48,000 something.
Well,
So
it's been paid, so that's been
Yeah, I know it's been paid. It just was a question of them updating that system is what Jane used to run into.
I'm not sure. I'll take a closer look.
Okay. I was expecting by now it would show at least around 7,000 or 8,000.
It
So-
probably is a function of when the check cleared.
Yeah. Okay. That was my one question. All right, if there are no more questions about the financial report, I can accept that and go on to the select board liaison report, and I will stop sharing.
So everyone, if you haven't already met Karen Herrick, if you see her, I see her in the corner of my screen. She is a vice chair of the select board, a fellow board member with me, and between the two of us, we are going to be working with the council. So you may see one or the other or both of us pretty regularly at meetings and things. So that was kind of a change in liaisons, but I'm still here. I'm not going away. I have no plans.
We know where to find you.
Yeah, indeed you do.
We watch the committee schedules. There's no getting away.
Indeed. So biggest issues. So I'm hearing, maybe, I'm wondering if we can all kind of mute out just for a second and then come back in, because I hear myself, it sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Okay, is that any better? Yeah, okay, all right, so the Alvin is gone. So big updates, obviously, the ARPA committee had recommended the $900,000 for senior activities, $300,000 for a feasibility study related to the work that Recalc is doing, and $600,000 for a variety of activities that Jean and Kevin put together, and Amy put together in terms of what would really serve the community. And the select board approved that at our last meeting. So I think that that's great news and great opportunity for, for the community to kind of figure out what the right things are and now do them. Jean described it as a bridge to the future and kind of how we recover from the pandemic, how we start engaging with more activities, engaging more people, doing other things. So that all is happening. In addition, the town has issued an RFP looking for potentially new and or additional space to be used for senior activities. And we'll see what kind of responses we get. It's going out to anybody and everybody, and hopefully there'll be some groups in town that respond with some opportunities. So we'll see what that looks like. It's not conflicting at all with, I think, what Jean had laid out in terms of what I call the basements and attics of, just finding space that we can use for activities. But we're trying to see if there might be some more consistent space that could be available. Again, certainly short term, but maybe there are some opportunities that are longer term. So that's also going on. The third thing going on at the board right now is we're having more discussions about affordable housing and how to look at affordable housing in the town. Town meeting passed a couple of resolutions that are pretty interesting. One talked about zoning and affordable housing and giving preference to residents. I think 70% of affordable housing units, new affordable housing units, to go toward residents. And the second activity is just exploratory at this point, but looking at the potential for some senior housing that could go in. And we can provide updates as time goes on. It's really in its infancy at the moment, but it's under discussion in terms of what's going to happen. Just back to the Affordable Housing Trust, the select board is going to talk about changing the structure of that. We've had kind of a fund that's just been sitting there doing nothing for a very long time, I think decades. And it's $400,000 or so. It really hasn't done much of anything. It provided some subsidies to the on Haven Street, not Postmark. What's the one that's been there that took over Atlantic? They got some subsidy money out of it, but that's the only use that I'm familiar with in 25 years in town. There are some opportunities. It would help to have a different way to administer the funds and to actually use it and push toward the goals. So the select board is going to have some discussions about that, and then that's going to come back around to town meeting at some point soon also. Karen, anything I missed? Do you want to add anything?
Well, there's the new committee we're talking about. It's in our packet. So I didn't know if if that would be covered during liaisons or another time.
So we can talk about that. It's on our agenda because it's an update to here. Yeah, I think that's probably okay. So there is some discussion about looking at the property the town owns on Simon's Way and looking at what the different potential uses are for that. So the select board is planning to form a committee to explore that. We're having discussions now about who should be on the committee, what the timing should be for the committee. We did share with Recalc and got some feedback from Recalc on who should be involved in the committee and frankly, who the right participants are. By way of background, so Simon's Way is down by the ice skating rink and there's a field next to it as well on one side. And then on the other side is the property that we purchased a few years ago. And then there's the rifle range and then there's Camp Curtis Guild. So this is all along Haverhill Street. And there are at least a few acres of developable land there. And the question is, what does the town want to do with it? So this committee would be exploring that. One of the potential uses certainly would be for possibility of a senior multi-generational center, either for that space or maybe part of that space. In other words, it could serve multiple functions conceivably. So this committee is going to take that into account. That has to be one of the parts of the marching orders for that committee. And Karen, you want to add on top?
The only thing I might add is I can bring this in from the Permanent Building Committee. So the great news is this effort to determine, how we can better serve seniors in the community. And this whole project is getting a lot of attention. So one of the members on the Permanent Building Committee suggested that we keep Killam, we build a new Killam next to the old Killam and keep the original Killam and use that as a senior center. And so it's too early to say anything about anything, but I just thought I'd share that. So this project and this initiative is getting a lot of attention across the community. So that's good.
Nancy, go ahead.
I actually have a bit of concern about this project, and we've got a lot of momentum going now for the senior/community center. And then we add the Simon, and one of the places that senior center is looking at is Simon's Way, or will eventually. So I want to perhaps encourage the Council on Aging to send a letter or a recommendation to the select board with this kind of caution, so that the Simon's Way Committee is following the time schedule of the Recalc Committee. And it's not getting ahead of the Recalc, it's following the Recalc Committee, because I think that's important. So I did draft a letter that we could send to the select board from the Council on Aging with our thoughts on this. I don't know if I don't know, I might be able to bring it up, or I could read it, or I don't know if the group just says, forget it, let's just go with it. So are there any feelings one way or the other?
Nancy, I'd encourage you to read it. It's not that long, and I read it, and I think it's really well to the point,
Okay.
just what you're saying.
Boy,
While you're finding it, let me just note, Jackie Behenna, I see you've joined us. Jackie, are you there?
I'm here.
Great, thank you. And I don't know who iPhone Fenway is. Can't hear you.
Barbara Carney.
Barbara Carney, yes. Okay, thank you.
actually, oh, here it is. Sorry.
And we have a guest. Angela has joined us as a guest as well. Welcome, Angela.
Share. I hope this is the right one. I had I had different versions, but basically, here's the gist of the letter. Dear Select Board members, the Council on Aging would like to thank the Select Board for the approval of ARPA funds to support the funding of a feasibility study for the new senior/community center, as well as additional senior center programs due to the hardships the over 60 community faced during the pandemic. The need for additional programs and services also exists because of the growing population and lack of space in the existing building. As you know, the Reading Center for Active Living Committee has been charged with exploring possible locations and programming needs for this new center. The committee has already visited centers in neighboring towns to conduct a preliminary assessment, held 3 public forums. The committee will hold 3 public focus groups to seek additional resident feedback, and the results of a townwide survey are expected to be available in December 22. This survey will provide more information on the needs of the community. Finally, the feasibility study should be completed by March 23, at which point the town will begin to look at possible locations, including Simon's Way. In order to keep the momentum going on this long overdue and well-documented project, we are suggesting that the formation of a Simon's Way Exploratory Committee be postponed until the Recalc Committee has submitted its final report. And there's a couple more sentences, but I don't know how to.
Just scroll.
No, it won't.
You go to the far right and scroll down. Just pull all the way to the right on the page and pull it down. Yep, pull it down.
Oh, okay. A need has already been established for a senior community center. The senior community has been waiting for a very long time to see this work. Probably should be completed, see this work completed. The Select Board and town staff and volunteers can work cooperatively for the need of all citizens without hampering the results of Recalc. We urge the Select Board to postpone the formation of this Simon Ways committee until Recalc has made its final recommendations to you. So that's kind of my thought on it. I hate to see the Simon's Way get mixed up in the whole Recalc process, which is really going quite well and really moving forward. So I'm not sure what the Simon's Way is. I would caution that the Simon's Way issue some kind of finding prior to Recalc. I have a problem with that. Hence, I wrote this little Select Board recommendation. So I don't know how do others feel.
Any discussion? Anyone thoughts? I personally think it's well worth, I mean, Mark, you've taught us well. If things are in writing and go to the Select Board, they're obligated to give it due consideration as opposed to a casual conversation, which is very informative, but doesn't necessarily cause action. I think it would be well worth personally, I think it would be well worth our sending this to the Select Board.
Can I comment, Marilyn, if no one
Yep.
else is? So I think it's a great idea to send the letter. One thing to think about is how the timing could work kind of in favor of both the Recalc, what they come back with through the feasibility study, and having this process started. So that if we're going to use the space at Simon's Way, one option would be, a pretty large center. I think it's potentially, is it 25 or 30,000 square foot footprint, Karen? Does that sound right? Yeah, I think it's, so it could be that and even multiple levels. So it conceivably could be a pretty large space that could serve multiple purposes. So, one option certainly is to say, hey, let's wait until Recalc feasibility study is completed. I had been thinking more about letting the committee start kind of when the space recommendation comes back from Recalc. and the survey results in kind of December-ish. And then it starts to dovetail with the feasibility study, and they could work together. So that's a thought to consider also. But I think no matter what, the idea of sending a letter, I think is a great idea. And sending it before tomorrow afternoon would be really helpful, because we're going to discuss this at the select board meeting tomorrow. It's on the agenda.
I make a motion that we send the letter as drafted by Nancy. I can sign
John
it.
Parsons has his hand up.
Oh,
just so you know.
sorry. I'm sorry, John. Yes, John.
But when Nancy was reading it, she made a couple of, changes herself on some of the wording.
Okay.
There's a few things that should be capitalized that probably aren't. So I'm not so sure we should send it exactly in this format, although I appreciate all the work Nancy did on it, and I agree with it. Just another thing as a sidelight to this, I was walking around that piece of property this weekend. I can't imagine a senior center going in there, because we looked at 21 centers and so many of them have outdoor activities, outdoor places for seating. And with this is right up against the swamp, I think it would be brutal with mosquitoes, gnats, flies, and everything else.
Yeah.
I think it's real wishful thinking for it to go down there.
Well, the other side, we could face the rifle range.
Yeah, and that is a point. It would be noisy. I mean, people who live in that neighborhood, I think they're in a war zone half the time.
My concern is that the senior center would kind of get the short shrift on Simon's Way, to put it pretty bluntly. Whether we think there's going to be mosquitoes there or it's going to be too loud. I mean, that's part of looking at the locations, which is done after the feasibility study, correct, Mark?
I think that's part of the study.
Is it?
Yes, that the
Oh, okay.
expectation is they're looking at locations, and ideally coming back to recalc and then the select board with some options, some ideas. You could do this here for this amount of money approximately. You could do that there for that amount of money. That's what I'm expecting from the study. Kevin, am I way off base, or is that what your expectation? Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry. No, you're right, Mark. The feasibility study is going to be very comprehensive. We'll have a better idea on what we're looking for, and then take a look at the sites and say, what you're looking at is not going to go here. Let's look at option B. And
Karen just put in, yeah, sorry, Karen just put in the chat, the buildable area is 4 acres at that site.
Well, can I make a motion with minor edits on some capitals and the small changes to wording that Nancy mentioned, that we send the letter out?
Karen Fatino's got her hand up, Marilyn.
Oh, I'm sorry. People in the corner, I keep missing you. Karen, thank you, John.
Hi, I was just wondering with the, oh no, I'm hearing the chipmunks. I was just wondering, for the letter, should we be expressing our concerns as opposed to asking them to delay the project, not knowing what the ramifications are, instead of, it might be more effective to say to them, these are our concerns with, these 2 projects going on at the same time. I don't know, what do you guys think about that?
Nancy, you're muted.
Can't hear you, Nancy. You're muted.
So you're saying that instead of saying point blank, postpone the development of this, make instead worded in such a way that it's important that the 2 projects work together and one is preclude the other. Is that the right way to say it? Yeah.
Yeah, just to say, these are our concern, and then that way they can take our concerns and, you know, if they need to take that into consideration and still move forward, you know, or if they need to stop and delay the whole feasibility, kind of let them make that decision, but tell them how strongly we want to make sure that our needs are being met and considered.
So
Nancy,
what
can
other
you zoom
thing-
in just a little bit on that? You see on the bottom right, you see that little scale? You can kind of grab the right in the middle of it and pull it a little bit to the right. Whoop, you got to actually grab the center, grab right on the center of it. There it goes. Beautiful.
there? Okay, yeah, I don't know why I'm getting this big gray. This is a brand new laptop. I don't know why, and it's telling me I need to activate, and I'm afraid to
Oh, that's what it
activate
is.
it because I might lose it completely, so. But is that better? All right, we still,
It's fairly small. I don't know if others are able to see it.
no, I don't know how else to do it, so.
I can see it except for the big blue blob.
How's that?
Ooh, good. Works for me.
Better.
Yeah.
So I'm just thinking, instead of saying we urge the select board to postpone the formation, to say, to consider, you know, for that last line. Instead of saying postpone the formation. Something like, you know, consider.
Something to the effect of that the committee, the acronym for the committee is SWEC, SWEC, that the SWEC committee works collaboratively with the recalc committee and the timelines mesh so
Yes.
that no decisions are made without a complete picture of all the information. Is that
Yeah.
something like that?
Yeah,
I'm not good at typing and
Recording in progress.
So I don't know if we have to wordsmith that
whoops.
right now, if you wanted to do it later, if you feel like you're a slower typer. And then send it out after the meeting when you're,
Oh, I can't modify this anyways. It's saying this modification is not allowed because the document is open for viewing only. Sorry, everybody, but could do that. We could wordsmith it kind of and clean up the little typos that are in there. How do people feel about that? What do you think, Mark? Do we need to be more obtuse, or do we need to come right out and say, you know,
So
don't screw up recount?
So I think it's good to say that. And given the size of the space, there may be opportunities to do lots of things. It's 4 acres. It's the largest parcel in town, the largest open parcel in town. And there are, hopefully going to be lots of options. And I personally would love to make sure that whatever comes back from recalc and whatever comes back from the feasibility study, we've seen some options that utilize that space or see if it can utilize some of that space. I don't think that whatever we would build there as a even, a community center. I don't know if it would take up all 4 acres. That sounds like a lot. And I think there are a lot of folks in town who have a lot of interest in the space. I know that recreation is very interested in the space. There are 2 things that are going on that the select board will talk about tomorrow night. One of them is the timing. The other is who's on the committee. And so that can be a discussion also of who, we'll talk about that tomorrow night, who should be on the committee. And I don't know that we'll resolve tomorrow night, but it's on the agenda. So we'll definitely talk about it.
Maybe I could suggest that Nancy, Karen, and I stay on for 10 minutes after this meeting and finish up the wording together. Could you, the 2 of you, do that without me?
Mhm.
That way we could get it out tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. So with that said, I'll try my motion one more time. Any more hands up that I'm not seeing? No. All right. Subject to the final polishing that Karen, Nancy, and I will do directly following this meeting, I propose that we have the, John, you've got your hand up again? You're muted. You're muted, John. We can't hear you.
I don't think any board or any committee should vote on anything unless they've seen the final draft of it. I mean, it's like the Senate voting on Obamacare when nobody read the damn thing. And not just to try to, do something against this. I think any board in town, but Mark, would the select board vote on something if they didn't see a final draft?
We will occasionally, when it's just wordsmithing, we will allow that. We'll appoint a person or 2 to complete the wordsmithing. That's literally the vote, is to have them complete the wordsmithing and submit it.
And we did this, John, last year when you and Tom and I were given a vote to create a letter requesting the full-time funding of the director position, and the 3 of us did that.
I can't remember what I had for dinner. Never mind what Tom and you and I did last year.
The 3 of us
Great.
did. The 3 of us did it, and that was what we were authorized to do by the council, was for the 3 of us together to draft a letter and send it, which we did. So we've done it
Okay.
before, and it sounds like select board does it. So,
I'm just throwing out my thought on it. Okay.
okay, thank you. Karen, you have your hand up?
Thank you, Marilyn. So I was one of the select board members that felt strongly that we should have a senior voice on this committee, which has really come up rather suddenly. And I had similar concerns about the timeline. But what would be wonderful is that you continue to have your voice, and at least if this committee is going to happen, at least got behind. And I think that's part of what this letter does. Support of having a senior voice on this committee, because I hear your concerns. And I do think it's going to get trickier to manage if you don't even have a voice on this committee. So at a very minimum, I would love if that's how you all felt and you told the select board so.
So when you say voice in the committee, are you suggesting one of the members of the Council on Aging be on it?
So in our packet, there is now an updated definition of the committee, and it's broad enough to be, correct me if I'm wrong, Mark, to be Council on Aging, Recalc, another resident senior advocate. So it's TBD,
Okay.
but that is different from the first time we discussed it.
So what you're suggesting is that we include a line in our letter voicing our support for having a senior voice?
If you want to have,
Right,
as
right.
Mark said, this is the largest, probably the largest parcel in town. I wouldn't cross it off at this point in the game either.
Okay, I understand. Thank you. Good point. All right, I haven't made it through my motion yet. Can I try it one more time? No,
Can I-
Nancy's got a question. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say, if John, if you want to stay on too and put your 2 cents in on the edits,
good idea.
you're more than
Stay under
welcome.
quorum. Stay below
Oh.
quorum, or whatever it's gonna be. Or do it
Oh.
now, or stay below quorum if you're gonna authorize a small group to
Oh.
finish it.
Our
okay.
our quorum is 6, so
Sorry, quorum is 6 of full members?
we have 10 members, 10 full
10 full?
members.
Oh,
10 full.
pardon me. I apologize. You're golden then.
Nancy, I suspect you're tired of me putting in my 2 cents worth.
Way. Okay, Marilyn, make the motion.
All right, I'm making the motion that Karen, Nancy, and I stay on after the meeting to make the final edits as discussed during this meeting and submit this letter to the select board tomorrow once those edits are made.
I second.
I think I'm the motion, so we need am I the first? And then we need a second. All right, then we need to vote. All right, Jackie Behenna. Jackie?
She's an associate, Marilyn. isn't she?
Not a voting member.
Oh, you're right, you're right. I'm sorry. I always make that mistake. Barbara Carney. Yeah, you're muted, Barbara. Still muted.
Mute. Okay, is now?
You're all right. Do we have a yes? Was that a yes?
Yes.
Yes, all right. Joan Coco is not here. Julian Eck is not here. Karen Fautino,
Yes.
Sally Hoyt disappeared. John Parsons,
Yes.
Karen Panett,
Yes.
me, yes, Marilyn Shapley, Debbie Small,
Yes.
and Nancy Zimlack.
Yes.
Okay, we will do our duly assigned duty right after this meeting. Thank you, everyone. Does that end the recalc? Does that end the select board report, Mark and Karen? All right,
Yes.
Kevin asked that before we go on to recalc, which we've already started to touch on, that we give him a chance to speak because he's way at the end of our agenda and he's itching to go, you can tell.
Yeah, I won't be, excuse me, I won't be around for the whole meeting. So again, I just wanted to thank the council for all you've done, basically caring for our seniors. And it's been a pleasure the past 2+ years working with you, during the pandemic. The challenges were endless. Want to thank Mark and Karen and the rest of the select board. Without your support, the staff and the council couldn't do what they've been able to do. But really, most of all, the staff, the Elder and Human Services staff, I can't thank them enough. And I just want to say thank you and well done to the past and the present, and wish best of luck to the future, because they put their heart and souls into caring for our seniors. And unless you've really hung around the center, you have no idea what goes on. And these people are absolutely amazing. So my hat's off to them. I went through the pandemic with them, came out of the pandemic with them. I think we've done a great job keeping people safe. What they've done in the 30 years as the Pleasant Street Center in a 140-year-old building is nothing short of amazing. So again, my hat's off to them. Thank you so much. There are so many challenges ahead in this building, using the ARPA money, and I know that the council and the select board will do their best to support them in the challenges. Staffing around the world is brutal right now, and the Pleasant Street Center is working to come out of that. So again, thank you for everything. I will be watching from afar the how recalc is going, and I'm going to be rooting for you. So again, thank you for all you do, and I'm around till the 29th, so hopefully I'll see you around town. So again, thank you. I salute you for your efforts, and wish you all the best of luck.
Evan, on the behalf of the Council on Aging, but others, if you'd like to speak, go forward too. Thank you. If nothing else rises to the top, although there's so much one could choose from in the last 2 years and through the pandemic, the most recent in my mind, of course, is that postcard. After 5,000 hours of discussion, you helped us get it out the door. We are back to having direct contact with all the members of the community again, which that was my personal goal.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have gotten through the last of it without you and the rest of the team. So
Compared to what the rest of the staff have done, that was an easy one, Marilyn, let me tell you. So again, hats off to Amy, the rest of the current staff and all the past staff.
Thank you, Kevin.
and have fun in Ireland.
I will. Come to McCarthy's and we'll toast a pint. So again, thank you all, and I'll see you around before I leave.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin.
And he's gone. Faster than a speeding bullet. All right. I was thinking Jenna would be here tonight to pick up the transition, but I'm sure we'll see her next meeting, or I hope we will.
Jenna has a meeting tomorrow night, Maryland, too, so she was off today.
Okay, no problem. No problem at all. All right, if we are done with the select board liaison, we are on to the recalc update, which would be John and Mark.
Mark does a much better job than I do.
No, John, you you carry the ball. We talked a little bit about some of the things that are going on. We did have, as you folks know, we had another open listening session that had, I don't know, 30 or so participants would be my guesstimate. And good, helpful, a lot of discussion about transportation needs to and from a center, wherever it's going to be, whether it's downtown or not. And now going into the summer, John Sasso, who's on the committee, has put together a really nice communications plan to keep talking about what's going on. For people who did the QR code that you folks had at the table, there'll be some outbound communication that they'll start to receive that just keeps them up to date on all the things that are going on. Talking about the progress, talking about the results of the open sessions. The next big thing that will kind of impact the whole community is a survey, which I think now is done. And I think that Gene Delios kind of said any final comments had to be in by today. So I think it's done. That's going to go out in early September with the goal of getting lots and lots of people to fill it out. It'll be available online. It'll be available at the senior center, at the library, in hard copies. And there'll even be an opportunity for folks who have trouble filling it out that way to call and have someone help them work through it. I did it today. I spent 9 minutes and 58 seconds. Their goal was to be under 10. And I would say that was like just under the wire. But that's good. We didn't want it to be too crazy so that people would, be a day project. That wasn't going to work. But there's a lot of good information that we hope to collect. We hope to get lots and lots of people. And remember, it's a senior/community center. So the goal is to get the entire community, or as much of the entire community as possible, to respond. People of all ages. So that's really the hope. It'll go out in September. I'm not sure the exact length of how long it'll be out there. I would imagine, several weeks, certainly, probably a month. And the goal is to be able to get a preliminary report in November and a final report in December. And the steps from there would be to report back to the select board with their kind of findings and suggestions on next steps. The great news is that the feasibility study, which is the next step, is funded. So once we kind of have that, the results coming back, the select board kind of working with them, it'll be going to the feasibility study to actually look at some options, locations, spaces, depending on what the recommendations from Recalc are, and then to have that back for March. So realize also that town meeting timing is kind of interesting in there. So town meeting is in November. And depending on how the survey is going, hopefully there can be something of a preliminary update on findings. And then if the end of March is a feasibility study completion, then we have April town meeting that follows. So that would be pretty interesting timing. Once the feasibility study is done, And depending on what comes back, what the options are, then a discussion again with the select board in terms of what direction would be suggested. Any money that follows has to come from town meeting. So those will have to be specific requests to town meeting, either for November of 23, or unless there's some kind of other activity or a reason to have a special town meeting sooner. So probably November 23, at least on the current timeline for specific funds. So that's kind of what's happening. The other big activity is that members of Recalc have visited somewhere around 23 different centers around kind of the north, well, I guess Eastern Massachusetts for the most part. And there's going to be work to put it together in a way that people can look at it, access it. Right now it's a pretty massive spreadsheet. And again, John Sasso has volunteered to try to make it readable, more easily readable, so people can see what's in there. And there's a lot of really good information on how different centers operate, the size, things like the size of big rooms, different kinds of services that are offered. So there should be a lot of good information that comes from that. Anything else, John, that we should talk about?
No, I appreciate you doing that, because my problem with a little bit of stuttering, it's much better that you do it so eloquently. The only thing I guess I would point out is if everybody has access to John Sasso's spreadsheet, the information there is probably just as important, or maybe more important, to Elder Services and the Council on Aging. There's just so much stuff there. It's unbelievable, because we did visit 20 plus centers and got a whole lot of information. And that's the only other comment I would have.
And thanks to members on the council, because a number of folks that are on this call have been participants in going out and doing some of those surveys and talking to people, which has been really helpful.
And I believe we do all have copies of it. I think Kevin did send it out to all of us after the last Recalc meeting.
I didn't know whether we sent it to the council or just people who on Recalc, and then people who have been, viewing the Recalc.
I'll double check, but I believe we all got it.
Okay.
But I'll
That-
double
that-
check.
If it is, that would be great.
All done on Recalc? Okay. We did miss one thing. I forgot to get approval of the minutes, which I know Nancy works really hard on. So I need to call that, and I see Sandy Schaefer has joined us as well. Slowly but surely, we're all getting here tonight. Hi, Sandy, nice to have you.
Hi.
I'm writing myself a note, double check. Sasso spreadsheet. Okay, let me call the roll on the minutes. I trust everyone had a chance to see the minutes. I see some nods.
Marilyn, I just
yes.
have one comment. On the ARPA update, it said the discussion included Peter Sanborn's transportation. Peter Sanborn itself doesn't have transportation. The comment was the new system that the town is using for medical transport is working well.
Oh, okay,
Thank you,
okay.
Just a clarification.
thank
That
you.
would be ATS.
Anything else?
Yes.
All right, let me take the roll. So this is looking for approval to accept the minutes with the one correction by Karen Panett. Barb Carney? You're muted, Barb. Still muted. How about a thumbs up? Can you give us a thumbs up or down?
Okay, yes, I got it unmuted finally.
All right. Do you approve the minutes as edited?
Yes,
Thank you.
yes,
Karen Fotino,
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes,
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Sandy Schaefer,
I wasn't here, but for that part of it, but I assume everything's fine.
okay. Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
and Nancy Zimlak.
Yes,
The minutes
and I
are
will make that correction.
with the correction. All right, we can go back to our list. ARPA funds update. Have we already covered that? I think we might have. Okay. All right, under new business. Upcoming events. Um, Amy, do you want to, I know you said you had things that you're gonna, this sort of connects in with funding requests. I know you've got stuff you said you were gonna ask for the summer, and if there are specific upcoming events you'd like to mention. Here's your time.
Okay, so the funding requests for July and August. For July, looking to do some sort of entertainment. Still waiting to hear back from a few people. Some requesting that $400 be requested for that. This is based on for an hour or two, and I'm waiting to hear back from 2 different entertainers. We've had them in the past, but costs have gone up.
I understand.
Do you
All right.
want me to do both of them, Marilyn, or do you want me?
I think
to
we
wait?
have to do them separately.
Okay,
So we need a motion to spend up to $400 for entertainment to take place during July from Burbank.
yes.
Anyone second?
Second,
Thank you, Karen. All right, let me take the roll. Foolishly put away. All right, Barb Kearney.
Yeah, yes. Am I muted again?
No, you're working just fine. Karen
Okay.
Fatino,
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes,
Karen Panett. Karen Panett,
yes.
Sandy Schaefer. You're muted, Sandy. You could just do a thumbs up. Want to do a thumbs up? Or down?
We can't hear you and we can't see your thumbs.
I know.
There you go, Sandy. Wait a
There you
minute.
are. Sandy speaking.
Oh.
You had it for a second and then you lost it.
Sandy, what you can try is you can press and hold down the space bar and keep it held down while you speak.
There
Can
you
you hear me
are.
now?
Yes. Yes. Do we have a vote yes or no on minutes? No,
Yes.
we're not on minutes. We're on the proposal for funding. Was that a yes?
Yes.
Thank you. Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack.
Yes.
All right, it passes. $400 for entertainment. What's next?
And the other would, for birthday lunch in July, that would be $300.
From Burbank?
Yes, from Burbank.
All right. I'll make a motion that we allocate up to $300 from Burbank for birthday lunches in July. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Thank
Barbara.
you. All right, thank you. Call the roll again. Barbara Kearney.
Yes,
Okay. Karen Fatino,
Yes.
John Parsons,
yes,
Karen Panett,
Yes,
Sandy Schaefer,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack.
Yes.
It passes. Thank you. All right, what's next?
Thank you. All right, for
We're on a
August,
roll here.
I have that we're doing an ice cream social. So I have that at requesting $300 from the Burbank Fund, please.
I make a motion that we allocate up to $300 for an ice cream social in August
Is this July?
from the
August?
Burbank Fund.
Are we in August or July still?
August.
Oh, thank
I
you.
did 2 for
Yep,
July.
yep, thank you. You've got better ears than I do, Karen. I'll second. And I'll call the roll. Barbara Kearney,
yes,
Karen Fatino,
Yes.
John Parsons,
yes,
Karen Panett,
Yes,
Sandy Schaefer,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack.
Yes.
Thank you. That passes. What's next?
What was you said there were 2 events in July?
The
Yes.
entertainment of some sort for up to
Yep.
400 and the birthday lunch, $300, up to 300.
Oh, I thought that was August.
No,
That is coming.
Birthday
Okay.
lunch is- is
Couple separate
July.
events.
All right.
So we good? We
what's
good?
next? What's next, Amy? Yep.
All right, so for August in Maryland, I know we're still TBD.
Yep.
Some of the celebrations, so I am requesting, and I'm confused myself. Yes, so we're doing ice cream social. Oh yeah, so I'm requesting for an ice cream social in August.
We
Wait a
did-
minute,
we-
am I confused myself?
we
Yeah.
did
Just
that one.
voted on that.
Sorry, the entertainment, I'm confusing myself now. The entertainment and the birthday lunch are both in July.
Right.
So for the ice cream social, I'm hoping to do in August
Mhm.
or July. I still have to work out some dates.
Okay.
Okay, so I can get back with you on dates. So I'm looking to get the birthday lunch for August, but that's going to be a special lunch that's going to be combined, I believe, with Sally Hoyt's birthday.
Yeah.
I got a few more emails. So we're doing two different events. And I'm not too clear, Marilyn, you can correct me,
I know.
but this is kind of going into, it might be double dipping. So
That's right. We could just word it as up to. We don't have to
Okay.
spend it all.
okay, great. So August 17th, we're gonna be doing, I think, a presentation of the proclamation for Sally. And we talked about doing a special coffee hour.
Yeah.
Would that be considered part of my ask, even if it,
I priced one out just to get some numbers.
okay,
If we get bagels for 50 people, that's about $100. Cream cheese is another 30. 2 60-cup tubs of coffee from Dunkin' Donuts runs around 170. Fruit around 100, and I figured tablecloths, centerpieces, whatever else we might need to make the place pretty. So I was gonna say $450 for that. We could probably get it for less. I just wanted to make sure we had enough. We don't have to spend that. So if that sounds reasonable, that would be for the coffee hour. Does that sound
Okay.
reasonable?
I think that's more than reasonable. I
Okay.
estimated it around 350, so I think.
Yeah, I think it can be done for that too. I just wanted to make sure we don't run short. We can always put money back in the till. We don't want to have to come in July to pull out another $100 or in August to do it.
Exactly.
All right, so do you want me to make the motion for that then?
If you,
Marilyn, John has his hand up, just so you know.
Yes, John.
And before we vote on any others, I'd just like someone to remind me, which fund is it that the Director of Elder Services has the control of, and what can that be used for?
It wasn't that they had control of it, as my understanding was there was one that they did not need our approval on, but that we also control. But in reading it, I honestly don't see that
that's, I
Elder
think,
Services has control. Mark, maybe you can clarify. This came up a couple of years ago where they said to Jane, you can always write a check off that one without the council approval, and it became truth. But to the best of my
Carolyn.
knowledge, council always needs to approve it. Yes, Amy?
it's the patrons. The
Patrons?
patrons. Yes.
And what can patrons be used for?
I believe that could also be a coffee. Costs that incur, actually, when I met with Jane about this, she had asked, so if a coffee pops up, which I was thinking about doing that, but where we have enough time to plan and it might turn into something more than that for the
Yeah.
celebration.
I know.
I figured better be safe than sorry.
Yeah.
But it is, I think, John, for minimal costs. Like, for example, we've used it for when I think when the town manager had come in, we had used it for that. I
Okay.
don't know the exact criteria.
All right, that'll be a good thing for us to investigate, Mark, with the trust board. Are you the person to follow, or or Karen the person to follow up on that, or should we reach out to them directly? How should we do that?
So I'm actually a commissioner of the trust fund. So best is to send me an email
Okay,
with the request specifically, just asking what that is. And then Endry hopefully can just answer that as treasurer. And if
Okay.
not, then we'd have to go to Beth. Beth, it's a wealth of information.
all right. And a question, when we send emails to you regarding the trust fund, do we send it just, what email to use?
Always my select board email for everything,
Okay. And that
unless you
one
want to
is-
invite me to a birthday party or something.
And that one is, just to remind me quickly, which one's that, Mark?
So it's, is it mark.doxer@ci.reading.ma.us.
Thank you. All right, we will follow up with you. And John, does that answer your question for the moment?
For the moment, yeah, because I know some, from my memory, you know, there was quite a bit that was used in that funds by Jane, where I know the wording basically says that it could be distributed under the discretion of the Elder Services Director. It clearly could not be under the direction of the council.
Okay. But the coffee hour one we're just doing is under the council's discretion.
I suppose it could be. I suppose it could be
Well,
under.
I make,
under
didn't I
patrons
just
as
make
well.
the motion? Did
I
I
don't
make the
think-
motion?
I don't think you got that far.
We haven't gotten that far yet, but John, just to clarify, this is gonna be for Sally Hoyt's birthday, and she has been emailing me with some dates. And for this particular one, she really wants the Council on Aging to be involved. So we had, I think, discussed this in April's meeting.
Actually, in April, all we were discussing, it was in March, actually, not April. I actually went back and listened to all the meetings just to get it straight. It was in March, and it was a cupcake drive-by was the only thing that was really proposed at that stage. It was a simple little thing. It has for everyone's, we won't share the 40 emails because you don't deserve that. It's very confusing, but it has grown and morphed. And anyway, we're doing our best, and we're going to do our best for Sally, but we need to get this organized. But in March, this was simply a cupcake drive-by is what we were talking about, Amy. So it has grown. But anyway, can I make a motion now on this one for the coffee hour? I move that we allocate up to $450 from Burbank to fund a coffee hour that would, for Sally Hoyt. Let's just leave it open because we don't know if this is going to be for the birthday event alone or whether it's going to be combined or whatever. But
Second.
to honor Sally Hoyt. Seconded, all right.
Second.
Thank you. And I will call the roll. Barb Carney,
Yes.
Karen Fotino,
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes,
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Sandy Schaefer,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small. Debbie,
Yes.
thank you. Nancy Zimlack,
Yes.
thank you. All right, I've got another one for the gift as well. Do you want me to do that one, Amy, now too?
Sure, if you want to, that, yes. 'cause that
Sure.
will be
I've
good info.
researched something that we might do as a gift, because we've got two things going on, actually. Sally is being recognized by our general court, and I think it's the House side, for her years of service. It's a general appreciation award. And they're coming and they're going to reward her some sort of plaque, and it'll be a photo opportunity. Separate from that and equally deserving is her birthday party. She had asked, could we do something to help her celebrate and to celebrate with all of us her 100th birthday. We're working out the logistics. It could end up being one big thing, or who knows. But I researched flowers, and if we had some sort of an engraved gift, a high estimate of all that, depending on what we picked, would be $275. And again, I think we can do something very nice for less, but I don't want us to get bound by having voted for too little. So if I could make a motion to allocate up to $275 from Burbank for flowers and a gift to show our appreciation for Sally in recognition of her 100th birthday. Seconded and from Burbank. Anyone?
Second.
Thank you. We go again. Barb Carney,
Yes.
Karen Fotino,
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes,
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Sandy Schaefer,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack.
Yes,
Fabulous.
I have a question now. Can I
Yeah.
just go down the list? Kind of got confusing. So July, we have $400 allocated for an entertainment performance.
Yep,
Also in July, we have 300 allocated for a birthday lunch.
yep. Oh,
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
in August, we have an ice cream social.
yes.
How much was that?
That was
300.
300.
$300.
300?
Yeah.
Okay. And then in August, we have the birthday lunch,
We didn't do that
which
one.
includes honoring Sally.
Right, and we
and
haven't
then-
done that one yet.
And August 17th, we have a coffee hour for Sally with her house proclamation. For
Mhm.
$450, and we also have Sally Hoyt gift for $275.
Right, but we have not yet had a dollar amount for the birthday lunch in
Yep,
August.
about to do the lunch. We were just kind of doubling this, Nancy.
No, that's fine. So the August birthday lunch is the regular birthday lunch along with recognizing Sally's birthday.
Yes.
No,
Okay,
And the flowers and the gift are the recognition most likely of Sally's birthday.
so
But we
Um,
need the regular lunch budget.
That's what I was.
that's a coffee hour.
The coffee hour is with the proclamation from the general
Yeah.
court. That's separate.
So-
That'll be like at 9:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
That's separate from the regular monthly birthday
So it's
lunch.
separate
At
from
which
the
point-
birthday lunch.
Right, and at the birthday lunch, we'll call out Sally in addition to recognizing everyone. We'll say, one of our guests today is 100, and we'll make a big fanfare.
And we'll invite Mark and Karen and make sure Fidel's there and do all that good stuff.
I was just gonna ask, yeah, if you would please invite the whole select board, that would be wonderful. Thank you.
Absolutely. So do I ask for the final? I feel greedy.
Go for it.
As the last
for it.
ask. Okay, so I am requesting for the birthday lunch, that, again, the costs have gone up even for our lunch, so I'm going to say $600, and that's based on having a total of 30 people inside and out. At
think that-
approximately $20. Do you think that's reasonable, Marilyn? with
I
kids?
think that's low. I think we're
I would
likely
say
to have
low.
more than 30 people.
Okay.
I was looking at for the spring lunch or whatever we ended up calling the one in May, we allocated up to 1,000. I know you had some music in there, so that was probably higher than this, but I'm thinking, because I know Sally is wanting to invite lots of people as well. I think I wouldn't be uncomfortable personally with saying up to 1,000. And if we spend less, great.
Okay, I mean, if it's up to 1,000, that would be great. I'm from the nonprofit world, so I always try to use what we have, but we didn't end up using all of the money from spring. So if I could request $1,000. Mark, did you have a question?
I did. I'm wondering, do you want to look at a bigger facility to host it at so that you could invite a very large number of people? I mean, not feel limited to 30 or 40.
no,
Who said no?
sorry.
it gets really hard, Mark, because we're talking about probably the last week of August when a lot of people are away. And we're also having the challenge of finding volunteers to coordinate all this. If we can do it in conjunction with the routine birthday party, it's expanded business as usual, and we'll do our best to find volunteers. If we start having a whole offsite thing in August, I know Amy's stretched to the limit. The council doesn't really have volunteers for something like this. I mean, if the select board wanted to dive in and help as well, you know, it might be an option and certainly appropriate.
I was thinking if you had a facility that handles this kind of stuff. I know Jean mentioned Bertucci's in their room, something like
Yeah.
that. But I just was offering it
No,
as
that's a
an
great
option to not be
idea.
stuck at 30.
I
Yeah,
think,
I just
Bertucci-
wonder whether Sally likes pizza.
I don't know.
Have other things.
Bertucci's room, yeah, I think Bertucci's room would probably be the same. What we can do is when the Lions had it, I think it was, and I'm gonna be wrong, but there was a lot of people, and they utilized, we can utilize the tent and inside. And what I could do instead of the birthday lunch for that month, we can just strictly have this dedicated to her. You know,
But
I mean, with her years
Amy-
of service.
Yeah. Amy, do you want to coordinate that?
I like Kevin had this conversation back in several
Yeah.
times with Marilyn. I can't, I'm doing 2
No,
jobs.
so,
This is
so
why-
I would say if someone here on the Council on Aging wants to pick it up and organize it, volunteer now or forever hold your peace, and we'll have it at the Pleasant Street Center. Anybody want to volunteer?
And I don't think it's that we don't want to. I think it's people's lives just don't give much of anyone,
Yeah.
especially at that point in the summer,
And
that
it-
kind of time to put
And
into
it was
this.
brought up, I think, before, just because I know Kevin had mentioned that, so,
Yeah,
and now we're down to,
I have a question.
yes.
Is the birthday lunch in August just for whoever's having their birthday?
That
We-
wasn't the plan. Oh, yes, for people who have birthdays in August, plus whoever you might
Right.
want to invite, I guess.
Mike's and my birthday are both in August.
Yeah.
So,
I just want to be sure I understand everything that's going on. We're having a reception sometime earlier in August. And how many, are we inviting a whole lot of people to that, like her family and town people? And then are we
Well-
inviting the same people to the birthday dinner?
well,
Um,
this was the thing.
No,
Wait a minute,
I just want to get a good handle on exactly what we're doing.
my idea on inviting is that, you know, we can put it in the newsletter. We can send a note out to all town officials via the town email, and that's it. Unless someone here wants to volunteer to coordinate actually sending out invitations. If someone here wants to do that and has the time and, you know, wants to do that, but it's all work that needs to be done, and it needs a person. I mean, it was the same for the Family and Friends Day. You need a person to do all this work,
At least one.
who's willing to probably put in a good couple days worth of work in order to do this.
okay, sorry, I'm going to jump in just to kind of condense this, because I feel like we keep having long discussions about this. So all that would need to be done right now, we can have this conversation online, because I feel like we're backtracking instead of moving forward. And I did look, this was discussed before, it was voted on. I have a couple people, it was Marilyn.
There's no vote.
There was a vote that COA, and there was a discussion with Kevin. There was. I have in the minutes, and I'd sent it, and it wasn't the cupcake thing, I think it was confused with both things, because Sally had sent the email back on February 17th to Kevin. So this has been a while, and I'm just trying, because we're so close to the dates, just trying to move it forward. So I don't think we need another person. If we have the date, if we get the food, if we just, decide on who wants to be invited, but I don't think we have the time right now to do an invite, and this should probably be discussed offline. If we just ask for the request and have the money, can we work out the details later? I mean, this meeting is on our CTV right now, so I just want to remind that too,
I believe what we're discussing and what we've now voted on is we will fund a coffee hour. And tentatively, we're imagining that's going to go with the awarding of the plaque, which tentatively is at 9:30 in the morning on the 17th of August, correct, Amy? Yeah, so that's the coffee hour for that. And we, in addition, have voted to fund a gift presentation that would be potentially awarded at the regular monthly August birthday party with a simple call out to one of our guests today is 100 and make a special fuss. And that's, those two events are the total of what I understand we've agreed to tonight. Or we've agreed to the funding for them tonight.
And that will be on Thursday, August 25th for a date. But Marilyn, I had forwarded you a couple emails that Sally had said, so as
Yeah.
long as someone from the council can represent, and Nancy, I thought it was passed on Saturday, we had a conversation.
Yep.
Be the contact person. So I just
Yep.
want to try to, so I think that's all we need to do, and if anyone could volunteer on that date, would that be okay to send an email at that time?
Are you going to be in town, Nancy, on the 25th?
Yeah,
And you're willing to do that and able?
yeah, but we're just having the regular monthly birthday party. We've got a lot of the stuff. We've done it before. We just need someone to help serve the cake and make a little speech kind of thing, right? That's what we're planning.
I think we need volunteers, and we need to decide, again, like Mark had mentioned, if we have, invite the select men and women, people from the town, her family. And
Yeah.
in addition to having the regular birthday lunch.
Amy, I volunteer to help with the monthly birthday lunch.
Okay,
I volunteer to help with that.
okay, then that's all we can do right now, unfortunately. That's it. It's, all right, so it was $1,000 request?
Yeah.
And is that voted for?
Not yet.
Okay,
We have a motion?
So we make a motion that up to $1,000 for the August birthday lunch from the Burbank Fund.
I'll second.
Will you stop getting in my way, Kitty?
Kitty's joined the council. All right, I'll vote. Barb Carney,
Yes.
thank you. Karen Fotino,
Yes.
John
My cat
Parsons.
is voting too.
Was that a yes, John?
Yes, it was.
Thank you. Karen Panett,
Yes,
Sandy Schaefer,
Yes,
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack.
Yes.
All right. Have we covered all the funding?
that's it. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you all. And Amy, if you want to get into further details exactly about anything to make sure we're coordinated on these events, absolutely.
Okay, realistically, it will be probably the end of the week. But I
Okay.
will, yeah, at least
I
we have
understand.
something set now, so that's good. Thank
Yeah,
you.
we have two somethings that are set.
Exactly,
All
thank
right.
you.
And I think we all agree that they're doable, and I think she should really enjoy both. All right, funding, becoming an age, we have a few things left. I'm thinking, and Mark, are you still with us? Did we lose Mark? We lost Mark. All right, Karen, maybe you can guide us on this. Normally, we elect new positions for chair, vice chair, and secretary. I anticipate we've got a fair number of new members and associates joining us as of August. I know that there were a bunch of candidates.
Okay, great.
I don't know if it's more appropriate to wait until that meeting or whether we need to try to pick people now.
How many, do you have a sense? So I know we had suggested that everybody who was already on a board or committee just meet with the VASC anyway, so that the new select board members can meet them. I mean, most committees are not necessarily waiting until the VASC is done, so I wouldn't say that you have to do that.
John, Nancy, anyone have any preference on how we handle this? Should we do it tonight or should we wait till August?
I think we should wait till August, but I'll do it tonight too.
I'm inclined to think August as well. John? I'm asking them, Karen, because they're in the other positions right now. John, do you have a preference?
Yeah, no, August is fine with me.
All right, so we'll table the election till August.
I probably
Volunteer,
I won't be here for the August meeting, come to think of it, but whatever.
okay. That kind of makes it hard if you're nominated for you to accept your nomination. So perhaps if you could let us know your thoughts in writing before, and we can act upon that as the meeting goes. How's that?
Okay.
All right, if you could send us an email. Volunteer recruitment, I just put that on here to mention that obviously volunteers are really important, and really appreciate all the effort that went into friends and family. If everyone can keep it up. Karen, there's your email. Thank you. Karen Herrick at ci.reading. It's really just a plug. Obviously, Amy needs volunteers and so does the council desperately so that we can fund events like this without anguish of who are we going to be able to have there to serve the cake and seat people and all the rest. Yes, Karen.
Well, since Mark isn't here, let me volunteer him to serve the cake. But you know, if you're inviting 5 select board members, you could deputize whoever is able to attend to help you out for sure.
That would be a big help. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen.
All right, reminder, there's no July meeting. We need to do our calendar for FY23. We don't have an August meeting scheduled yet. We usually meet the second Monday of each month. If perhaps we could tentatively, or can we set that date? I don't know if all the information's available from the town to know if we can set that date, Amy. Do you know? It would be August 8th.
Or the I'm
Next
not
council
too
meeting.
sure. I'm not too sure, to be honest.
I know, I wasn't surprised. So why don't we put if you and I could coordinate, we'll send a list out to people.
Okay,
And actually, if it turns out to be August 8th, that's so early in the month, I will still be here.
Great.
I was
Well,
thinking
number-
August 12th was gonna be later. My
Okay,
daughter's
number-
moving into Chapel Hill and I've gotta go down and see the house.
All right, well, for the moment, if everyone could tentatively expect the next council meeting to be August 8th, and if it's not, Amy and I will let you know. How's that? We've already done our best wishes and thank you to Kevin, and we will welcome Jenna the next time. Hopefully she'll be able to join us. I did just want to show really quickly, because I know it's getting late and people are tired, but I wanted to do a little bit of looking forward. This should only take about 3 minutes if I can share my screen. There's starting to be talk at some of these meetings about becoming an age-friendly community, and I've mentioned it a couple of times. And for anyone who's not familiar with it, I just wanted to show you a little bit about what it's about, and I'll send a follow-up link and encourage people when they've got some time to explore the website. But let me just share my screen. Hang on a second. Full screen, get out of that. And I want to go to my PowerPoint up here. Okay, back to this one. View full screen. Share. This one. Okay, can everyone see a PowerPoint?
No,
No? Really?
no.
Stop share. All right, let me try it again. Share screen. If not, we'll put this off to the next month's meeting. Let me try this one. Share. How about now?
Yep, I
Yay.
could see it.
Great. All right. There's something called age-friendly communities. It's actually a global initiative. The AARP has jumped on board in the United States and the state of Massachusetts, as well as many others. And basically, it's a recognition that by 2035, the number of adults older than 65 will be greater than the number of children under 18. So there's a real shifting in the demographics. What they're trying to do is to engage and mobilize communities to share expertise, deliver technical assistance, and basically make these livable communities for older adults. And here we go. Little call out up at the top, it's just pointing that AARP is in partnership with the World Health Organization. This is based on worldwide research about what people need for a community to be livable, so they can stay in their homes and not necessarily have to relocate to some sort of assisted facility just because the community can't support them. Age Friendly has 8 dimensions, at least as AARP is working with it. They look at outdoor spaces and buildings, transportation, housing, social participation as a critical element of appropriate living facility arrangements for people, respect and social inclusion, the opportunity for civic participation and employment, communication and information availability, and community and health services. Sort of turning that into what does it mean is they're trying to create a livable community that's safe and secure, that offers choices in where to live and how to get around, and it equitably serves residents of all ages, ability levels, incomes, races, ethnicities, and other backgrounds. They're focusing on personal independence, allowing residents to remain in their homes and communities as they age, and provide opportunities for all ages, ability levels, and backgrounds to engage fully in civic, economic, and social life. Just wanted to mention that around us, many of our neighbors have joined this initiative. Massachusetts as a whole is under a program to develop an age-friendly state. And back on the first page, I had the link for that, and I can share this with people as well as the links. North Reading has joined, Stoneham has joined, Wakefield has joined, Winchester has joined, and all these other cities and towns in Massachusetts have joined. And what it means for a town to join is that they actually sign up to participate in a cycling process of reassessment and improvement. They pick some group within the town to initiate it, basically. They conduct yet another needs assessment, but AARP has ones that are specific to making communities livable for elderly people. They develop an action and evaluation plan based on the assessment. They submit it to the AARP for review, and they implement and work towards goals of the plan. They share solutions and best practices, and they periodically assess how are they doing, and then they repeat. As I say, communities throughout the state as a whole, and in particularly our neighbors, are jumping on board with this as a good guideline. There are many components to it. We don't need to do anything tonight about this. I'll stop sharing, but I'd like us to start thinking about it, because this is a global effort that's recognizing when you've got a predominantly elderly population, you need to rethink some of what the community offers. And many of the things Reading is doing right now would fit well within this. But I'd like us to think about perhaps we should actually formally join and make the commitment to become an age-friendly community. But I just wanted to start the discussion and make people aware this is out there tonight. And I will share the links with you and probably talk more about it as we go into the next fiscal year. So that's my 2 cents worth. Anything else anyone wants to discuss tonight, or questions about age-friendly or anything?
If I could just say one thing, I think it's very important. I strongly think it's very important that besides inviting the select board to the Sally Hoyt event, we should try to find, if they're available, members that were on the select board when she served. And I was going to ask Karen Herrick, because I would be willing to try to find these people, but I was going to ask Karen Herrick if she could tell me the easiest way to go back in some records and find out who was on the board at that time.
Oh, that is a good question, but I don't know if it's posted on the website yet, although I could be wrong. But I think if you put a call to Laura Gem, we have had this discussion and she does have the list. So you can definitely call Laura and she'll be able to help you out with that. That's an excellent question. Unless it's already on the website, it's pretty hard to answer.
And does anybody disagree with me that it would be important to invite the past members, particularly the ones that she served with? Okay,
think
I'm glad
that's
to
a
see
great
nobody
idea,
shaking their
John.
head no.
Jane's another one. And I don't know who was on the Pleasant Street Center before, or in Elder Services before Jane, but there are other people that Sally must have had some involvement with.
It was Don Fotopoulos before Jane. I think Don is still the head in Melrose, or I'm not sure.
I think those are great ideas, John.
It happens occasionally.
More often than not. All right, I think we've covered everything. Karen and Nancy and I are going to stay on, but John, if you want to make your favorite motion.
Yeah, motion to adjourn.
Seconded by Karen. Okay, here we go. Last one for tonight. Barb Carney. Barb,
I think the cat's there.
you're muted again, Barb. You and the cat, you're muted. Do you vote to adjourn, Barb? Barb, you're muted.
No.
muted.
Yes,
Thank you.
all right,
Karen Fatino,
finally.
Yes.
John Parsons,
Yes.
Karen Panett,
Yes.
Sandy Schaefer,
Yes.
Marilyn Shapley, yes. Debbie Small,
Yes.
Nancy Zimlack.
Yes.
We are formally adjourned. Remember, there's no meeting in July. We'll see everybody in August, tentatively August 8th, unless you hear differently, but we'll confirm. Amy,
Great.
you're looking confused.
I am.
Yeah.
I,
No?
I, if you guys
Just
are
tired.
saying, like, no, I'm, if you want to stay on later, I'm trying to make you the host, because if I stop this, it will end.
Ah,
So that's why I'm looking confused. That's my thinking look.
that's a good point. Can you
Good night,
make us,
everyone.
can
Thank
you make
you.
one of us the host?
I'm trying, that's what I was trying to do.
I think you just go to the participant list and can click host. Or, no.